Hi, I'm Daphne Maxwell Reid, and you're watching LifeMinute TV.
One of television history's most beloved sitcom moms, Daphne Maxwell Reid, otherwise known as Aunt Vivian on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, sat down with us virtually earlier this month. Acting and modeling at a very young age, she became one of the first African-American women to grace the cover of Glamour mag. Today, Reid is a respected artist and designer and education activist. She filled us in on everything she's been up to, including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion that aired on HBO Max last November.
We've all been in touch with each other and seen each other over the years, but that was the first time we were all together in one place at the same time. And that was just absolutely joyful. And Will did a wonderful job. His production company set that up, and it was very, very well done. It was really a family reunion, and we really all appreciated that. Taking over that character wasn't such a hard thing to do. I could just start from where I could start from. I didn't need to try to be like the first one, so I just brought my sensibilities and the chemistry that James and I had to that role. And it was lovely because they were warm and open and very loving when I arrived there. I had been on television for about 20 years before Fresh Prince even got started, and had been finishing up on my third series, back-to-back series, when my husband and I decided to move to Virginia to get some rest. And they asked me to come and read for a sitcom, and I said, okay, what is the sitcom? And they said, it's a young rapper. I'm going, a sitcom with it? No, thank you very much. I'll pass on that. And I went to Virginia. And that fall, when the shows aired, I looked at it, I said, what a cute show that was. I guess I missed that opportunity. But 3 years later, they called again and said, we want you to come and read for the role of Aunt Vivian. I said, you already have an Aunt Vivian. They said, well, we're thinking about casting again. And I'm going, I'll be there. And I went and auditioned probably for about 2.5 weeks against about 200 people. And James and I guess, had the chemistry that they wanted to see. And they appreciated the work that I had done formerly on television. And I got the job. I was very happy. The first time we got ready to shoot in front of the audience, I had never shot in front of a live audience before. So I really didn't know what to expect. I knew that it had to do with timing and that you had to let something breathe so the audience could do their laughing that they needed to do and not step on your next line. So there were a few things that I knew I had to pay attention to. But as soon as I stepped out onto the stage to shoot the first shot, it was just like getting into a warm tub. It was very, very nice. And Will gives you energy before you even get to the audience. So it was quite a rally before we go on stage. We would all meet in his room, and there would be music, and we would just hype up. And we danced all the way down the halls, and then we got to the set, and behind the scenes we were playing musical instruments and just kind of jazzing up before keeping our energy up, and it works. It worked beautifully. We laughed a lot. We just always laughed. It was a great environment. Sometimes we'd get to a line and we couldn't get the line out because somebody started laughing, and it would get contagious, and it would just go on and on and on. And those were some funny times. Some of the things that Carlton did were extremely funny. We visit, we go to Comic-Cons together, we used to travel together. We meet up places for lunch, any kind of way. We've been to weddings and sadly funerals and lots of occasions. We celebrate occasions and successes of each person. So it's been exciting watching their families grow, and being part of that is just an extended family for us.
Speaking of family, Daphne's real-life husband is actor Tim Reid.
We did a lot of television together. We did a lot of producing together. We built a studio together. And after we sold the studio, I said, okay, you're on your own. I'm going in this direction. You do whatever you want to do. you work it out. I mean, a partnership is not something that comes naturally. You have to work on it.
Her advice for a long-lasting relationship, she says, comes down to 3 things.
Honesty, integrity, and respect. If you respect somebody, you don't go there, as they say. You don't tear them down. You keep your ego out of it. Talk about it. Work it out. It's easy to quit. You don't learn anything when you quit. So grow with it. If you want to commit yourself to this person, understand what commitment is, and understand that each of you needs to let each other grow.
And when she's not acting, Reid is busy creating art of other kinds.
Well, I decided to become a photographic artist when I was 60 years old. And that's because I've been traveling the world taking pictures of doors. And I found that doors are a metaphor for life, and I like to introduce people to what I see around the world in texture, color, craftsmanship, and in noticing the details of one's life that makes our life's journey very rich. I've published 4 books on the doors that I've taken around the world, and then learned publishing in the meantime. It's been a great journey, and I've been sewing since I was 9 or 10 years old. My mother was a seamstress, and I've always made my own clothes. About 10 years ago, I made a silk brocade Chinese style jacket. I call it topper. And every time I wore one, people stopped me in the street and say, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "I made that." And they said, "Would you make me one?" And I said, "No." And my husband was doing a fundraiser for his institute and asked me to do a line of them for his fashion show. And I did, and a business was sprung out of that. So I custom make these coats and have been having a really good time with that as well.
What's next for the star?
I'm making tote bags right now from the photos that I took around the world. I took the photos and made a fabric, had it printed, and I'm creating beautiful tote bags that I'm doing a limited edition of. So I'm selling those, and I'll probably create another note card collection. And then I'm still selling my cookbook and talking about my cookbook, Grace, Soul, and Motherwit, which is basically a mini memoir of my life and the people that I've met along my journey.
And as for her best life advice,
pay attention to the details in your journey, not just the accomplishment of getting from A to B, but the journey along the way. All of the details add to the richness of your life. And don't let the successes go to your head, and don't let the failures go to your heart. How's that?
sounds great to us. To hear more of this interview, visit our podcast, LifeMinute TV, on iTunes and all streaming podcast platforms.